Hi, I'm Jeff from ROKFORM, and today we're going to do an unboxing of our new universal vibration damper, and we're going to show you how to install it on the different types of mounts. So let's get started and start the install, and we'll get a nice little close-up here. So here's a close-up of the different mounts that we're going to show you, and first we're going to do a little unboxing to show you what's in the box, and then we'll show you the different types of adapters so that when you get this, you'll know exactly what to do. So inside, it's going to show you a little bit about the damper. It's an all aluminum damper, CNC machined aluminum with our twist lock. It'll fit our brand new spur gear type, our pill post type, which is our original style, and our square post type, which is the previous version. So we're going to open it up here. And inside you will find the instructions. So the instructions will also show you exactly what to do, but we'll show you here real time, so it might make a little more sense if you see someone else do it. So we'll put those aside. First we have our damper. So this dampener will work directly onto our new spur gear type. So if you bought a mount from us within the last since 2024, it's probably just going to use this spur gear type and bolt right on. If you didn't and you have one of the different types, we'll show you how that works too. So we include all the tools, so no matter what adapter you use, you'll be able to install it. The original one is what we call the pill type. And this is, call it a pill because the little post kind of looks like a pill. You can kind of see that. It's kind of an oval shape. And you'll see there's 3 mounting holes here. And each of these little bags will have the appropriate screws to install it. So in this case, there's 4 identical screws with pre-applied Loctite. So we'll open this up here, and we will reveal those screws. And this is most likely what your arm looks like if you have the pill type. And what you would do is remove the old lock. So I'm going fast here with a different tool, but these tools will also work. So once the lock is removed, you'll see that little pill shape. So it's going to fit exactly like this. So it'll lock right down in there. But first we have to install it onto the dampener. So this has a little gear. It's called a spur gear. And there's a little arrow. And the arrow points to the lever. And there's only really one way to install it because otherwise these holes won't line up. So as long as you get that arrow pointing towards the lever and all 3 holes line up, you got it right. So all you're going to do is put your screws in. And all these screws are the exact same size, so you don't need to worry. So we'll install the screws. Okay, so now that all of our screws are tight, you don't have to over tighten, they just have to be snug. There is Loctite on there, so they're designed not to back out. So once that's installed, you're ready to install your damper. So then you just match up the pill with the notch in the mount, the lever arm, just like that. Flip it over, use the supplied screw, tighten it up, and that's it. So that's the pill shape version. So now you have your damper with your lever arm ready to go. So next we'll do the square post. So this version is the square post, and there's actually 2 versions. One may have a plastic back on it, and the newer ones do not. You are going to reuse this plastic back, so if you do have one that has this plastic back, make sure you reuse it. I'll show you what to do on that. So we're going to remove this, take our lock out, and if the lock doesn't pop right out, put a couple threads in there and just push and it'll pop out. Sometimes they get kind of seized on there a little bit, but if you leave the screw about halfway out and then just push on it, that lock will pop right out. So that's our little plastic back. And you also are going to leave this plastic, you're going to remove this plastic piece. You're no longer going to need this. And we'll take our square post, matches with this square post. Okay. So to install it, we supply all the screws that you're going to need. And there's the 3 smaller diameter screws and the 1 larger diameter. That's for the center. That's to hold the dampener. So it goes on the same way as the pill version. You have your arrow, you line it up with the lever and install the 3 supplied screws. Okay, so now that all 3 screws are installed and snugged up, you're going to do the same thing as you did with the pill post. You're going to line up the square with the square. Just like that. And then replace your plastic cap if you have one. If you don't have one, you could skip this step and it'll line up here in a second. There it goes. It'll pop right down in there. Put your screw that we gave you inside. And again, you don't need to over tighten it. Just get it snug. And there's your installation of the square post style. Okay, so finally, we're going to go to our spur gear style. Okay, so first we're going to start with our pill type adapter kit with our universal vibration dampener. And we will remove the screw from the back, pop out the lock, and we don't need this screw or this lock anymore. So you'll see the little pill shape, oval shape female indentation there. And we're going to take our adapter that has the male version of that and our screws. And each of the little bags that contains the adapter will have the appropriate screws. So in this case, it's 4 screws of the same length. And they all come with pre-applied Loctite. So all you're going to do is you're going to line up this arrow with the lever. And the only way it's going to screw on is if the arrow and these 3 holes are aligned. So there's only really one way to put it on, but we put this arrow to make it easy, points out. So all the holes are lined up. And we're going to put our screws in, and then we're going to tighten the screws. Use a star pattern to tighten, and we'll get them tightened up, not over tight, but snug. They do have thread locker on there, so they're designed not to back out, so you don't need to over tighten, but get them snug on there. Okay, so all 3 screws are snugged up. And then to install the damper, all we're going to do is line up this little pill shape part with the pill shape on the arm. It's going to stick on there just like that. We're going to install our screw, snug it up, and that's how you install the pill shape version. Next, we're going to do the square type adapter. And we actually have 2 variations of this. One has a little polycarbonate cap on the back, and if you have this cap, you are going to reuse it. If you don't have the cap, you don't need to worry about it. We'll do the one with the cap as an example because that's the only one you really need to look out for, is the one with the cap. So we're going to remove the screw, and if for some reason this lock wants to kind of be ornery with you and not pop out, just back the screw out about 3 or 4 turns and push it, and that lock will pop right out. And you'll see that the cap came out, and so did the plastic polycarbonate insert. Sometimes you'll see this little spacer in there. If you do have this spacer, you do not reuse this spacer either. So you can set the spacer aside. You can also set the lock aside, but we will keep the polycarbonate insert, and we'll keep this plastic cap on the back. So we'll do the same procedure we did with the pill shape to install our adapter onto our dampener. And again, this is going to come with all of the screws that you're going to need. So it's got the 3 small screws to install the dampener, and it's got the center screw to hold the dampener in place. So same process, you're going to line up the holes and the arrow, and you're going to install your 3 screws. We don't have to get them over tight, but we do want to make sure these are snug. Now that all 3 screws are snugged up, we're just going to line up this square with the same square on this side. So just like so, snaps right into place. Flip it over. We're going to reinstall our cap like that, and the cap should sit down into those slots. There should be no gap here. And then we're going to install our center screw. And again, you don't need to over tighten it, but just get it snug. And that is the square type. Okay, last but not least is we have our spur gear type. This is going to come in some of our newer mounts, just like this new small bar scooter mount. And this is the easiest one. You just need one tool to remove the bottom screw that holds the lever arm. And this one will not come with an extra screw, because whatever screw that your mount came with, you can reuse in our dampener. So we're just going to remove the lever arm, and we're going to line it up whether we want to have it horizontal or vertical. We can do both, just depending on how we orient it on that spur gear. And you'll know when it's on there, you don't want to have it not engaged. You can feel and see when it's engaged on there. So make sure that you line it up, and you'll feel it when it snaps down in there. We'll put our screw in, tighten it up, and that's how you install it with the spur gear. So now we saw all the installations of all 3 ways that this dampener can be installed on your mount. So thank you very much for watching, and if you have any additional questions after watching these videos, please give us a call, and we're happy to help and walk you through any issues you might be having. Thank you very much.